Good morning, class. Today we are going to study about, later in the lecture we already studied about the DNA and RNA. What was the particular finding of the DNA and RNA and all the things, that genetic material is the DNA. We have studied about the experiments of the DNA and the structure of the DNA and RNA. Now we are going to study about the central dogma. What is the central dogma? Central dogma is the part of molecular biology. What is this states? It just states that there is one way or unidirectional flow of information. The central dogma states that there is a one way or unidirectional flow of information will occur. That is from the master copy of DNA to the working copy of RNA, and then from the working copy of the RNA to the building block of polypeptides. So when the master copy of DNA will transfer the information to the working copy of RNA, that the process is called as transcription. And when the RNA will transfer the information from building block of polypeptide, that process is called as translation. It was proposed by Crick in 1958, and later it was also seen by few other, Temin in 1970. So what Crick was proposed? Crick had proposed that DNA to DNA transfer means the copy of DNA to DNA will formation is called as replication, and after DNA to mRNA, that is the working copy, that is called as transcription, and then the mRNA to polypeptide, that particular process is called as the translation or protein synthesis. Later on, Temin has found in 1970 that retrovirus performs central dogma in reverse direction. Temin in the later 1970, the HIV is also example of retrovirus. So retrovirus, he had seen that the central dogma is the reverse direction. What is the happening? Reverse direction means the DNA to RNA to DNA was converting. So that is called as the reverse transcription. Now transcription always occur over the DNA, and translation will always occur, or the protein synthesis, in the ribosomes. Okay. Now the first process of which was proposed by Crick, DNA to DNA, will study about the replication. Later on we will study about the transcription as well as translation, but today we will study about the replication. It is quite long, but if you give a proper guidance and proper concentration, then you all could understand it. What is the replication? Watson and Crick had given the semi-conservative model of the DNA replication. So Watson and Crick had given the semi-conservative DNA replication. What they had said that the two strands of DNA would separate, act as a template for synthesis of new complementary strand. After replication, each DNA will form one parental and one synthesized strand. What they had said that the DNA is a double helical structure. DNA is double helical structure. Then they had said that the parental strand will separate out. They will separate out. The single strand had been separated. Now after their separation, they will form a new strand, and that new strand with the parental strand, new strand will be formed. That is called as the semi-conservative model of DNA by Watson and Crick. So this was the model given by Watson and Crick. Later on, this model only, the Matthew Meselson and Franklin Stahel had conducted an experiment on Escherichia coli in 1958. What they had done? They had conducted an experiment on Escherichia coli in 1958. What was the experiment? Let us see. What they had done? They had grown the Escherichia coli in a medium containing NH4Cl, means ammonium chloride, where nitrogen was having 15 heavy isotopes was containing. So the medium which was containing NH4Cl, in which the nitrogen was having N15, means heavy isotopes of nitrogen is being present in the NH4Cl, that in that medium Escherichia coli was grown. And we all know that the nitrogen is a component of the DNA. So the Escherichia coli DNA will incorporate the particular isotope of nitrogen. So this was the only method that we will see that how the nitrogen, and we will distinguish in the DNA that whether replication is taking place in what way the replication is being taking place. So what was happened here? NH4Cl medium, the Escherichia coli has been grown. Now NH15 will be incorporated with DNA of Escherichia coli. We all know that when the NH4Cl, the Escherichia coli will give, then N15 will be incorporated with the DNA of Escherichia coli, because N15 nitrogen is the main product of the DNA. That's why we all know the nitrogenous base is there, so nitrogen will incorporate particular DNA of Escherichia. Now after that, we will put the CHCl medium. In the CHCl means cesium chloride, we will do the centrifugation. Centrifugation means agitation. Centrifugation. So density difference will occur, that the heavy DNA will settle down and the light DNA will be separated. So that's why we will distinguish the DNA, heavy DNA from the normal DNA. The heavy DNA will be settled down, means NH4Cl isotopes will be the heavy isotope that will be settled down in particular centrifugation tube, and the light will be, or normal DNA will be distinguished there. Now Escherichia coli with the N15. The Escherichia coli which was having the N15, the N15 means the heavy DNA, will be transferred to NH4Cl having N14. So N15 isotopes Escherichia coli which was carrying, which has been grown in the NH4Cl 15, that particular Escherichia coli which was incorporated with the N15 isotope of nitrogen will be grown in the NH4Cl. Now it will be transferred to NH4Cl medium. So what will happen? This NH15 and NH4Cl, now we will just see the differences. Then after that particular samples were separated, and independently it will be centrifuged in the CHCS, means cesium chloride, to see the densities difference of the DNA. What will happen? Once more we will study that Escherichia coli will be grown on NH4Cl having N15 isotopes. Then it will be centrifugation in the cesium chloride will be done. So difference between the normal DNA and N15. After that the Escherichia coli with having N15 DNA will be transferred to NH4Cl having N14 DNA. And then again the separation of the cesium chloride centrifugation will be done, and now we will see the difference of the densities. What will happen? As cell multiplied, samples were taken as DNA was extracted. Cell will multiply because it has been incorporated. We all know that the Escherichia coli is the bacteria which will be dividing in every 20 minutes. So when it will divide, then the DNA will also be divided. It will also be copied. So that will be that particular DNA will be extracted. So what we will see, DNA obtained from the culture after one generation. When after 20 minutes the Escherichia coli will divide its colony into double. So what that happen, the DNA obtained from one culture after one generation transfer from N15 to N14, means N15 will be transferred to N14. So what will happen after 20 minutes? Escherichia coli will have hybrid or intermediate densities. So when the N15 will be transferred to N14, and then the first generation, means Escherichia coli will be kept, and then after 20 minutes when the Escherichia coli will divide to the double bacterial colony, so DNA will be also dividing. So what we will see, that there will be the hybrid, means now the Escherichia coli which has been grown after 20 minutes will having the N14 as well as N15, both DNA will be incorporated in its DNA. And after second generation, means after DNA obtained from the culture after the generation second, means after this generation again after 20 minutes, means after total from 40 minutes, from starting 40 minutes, the 20 minutes will division of this particular, and after this 20 minutes then we will see that the composed of equal amount of hybrid DNA as well as the light DNA, means the separation will be occur. The N14 will be separated. Some Escherichia coli will having only N14 DNA, and some will be having both N15 and N14 DNA. So this was the experiment, and similar experiment was done by on Vixia faba by Taylor in 1958. He had used the radioactive thymidine, and he has also seen the DNA replication in the semi-conservative model, means a new strand of DNA is also propounded in the particular strand. So what we had done here, here the N15 DNA Escherichia coli was grown in the N15 DNA, so its DNA will be having N15 DNA. After 20 minutes of the division, what is happening? After 20 minutes of the division, generation first, when we had transferred it into N14 DNA, means N14 medium, what will be happen? The new generation will having N15 as well as N14, means hybrid colony in the generation first. After 20 minutes and after 40 minutes, means from here 40 minutes. This is the after, from this the 20 minutes, but after this the 40 minutes. 40 minutes time, what we had seen, that there will be the N14 DNA. 2 N14 DNA means the light chain DNA, which will be called light chain DNA, and 2 will be the hybrid colony. 2 will be the hybrid colony, means both N15 and N14 DNA will be present there. So this was the generation 2, means the light as well as the light, this one N14 and this one is the hybrid, where the N14 and 15 is this, and N15 is called heavy and N14 and 15 is called hybrid. So this was the experiment done by the Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahel in 1958. So this was the DNA. So now there are some enzymes. Let us study about those enzymes. So those enzymes are, the first one is the DNA dependent DNA polymerase. DNA dependent DNA polymerase means it will polymerize the DNA chain. The main enzyme which uses the DNA template to catalyze polymerization of deoxyribonucleic nucleotide. So what it will do? It will polymerize, means increase the chain of deoxynucleotide. The rate of polymerization means the extension of the chain will be at the 2000 base pair per second. Means at every second there will be the addition of 2000 base pair will be occurring. In prokaryotics, there are 3 types of DNA polymerase first, second and third. And in the eukaryotic, there are 5 types of DNA polymerase alpha, beta, gamma, delta and epsilon. Now, these enzymes, the DNA-dependent DNA polymerase, are highly efficient because they are having the catalyzation capacity and to do the polymerization at a large nucleotide. Large nucleotide will be, chain will be formed in a short span of time. Within a second they will be formed. So they are very highly efficient, and in those efficiency there may be mismatching will be occur. So for that, a mechanism in itself it will be done in the particular DNA dependent enzyme. It will do the proofreading so that any no mismatch pair or no any wrong template joining would be occurring. So that the first enzyme is a DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Now the second one is the helicase. What is the main purpose of the helicase? Helicase, the unwind the DNA strand. When we study the replication, means the DNA will be unwinded, means it will be converted into this. What is happening? DNA is unwinding. Now from here it is unwinding. So that unwinding is due to the from one point that is called as replication fork, where this particular DNA will be unwind. That particular point is called as replication fork. Here you all could see the replication fork. So that's the replication fork. So that is called as the helicase. There helicase is being acting. Topoisomerase, when there is a lot of polymerization reaction will taking place, we see that the traffic is there in any road, then there will be tension created. So that's why the traffic police is there to balance that particular tension and particular traffic, manage that traffic. Similarly, where topoisomerase main function is there to release the tension which occurred in the DNA so that the proper replication process goes on. And the last enzyme is the ligase. What is the main function of the ligase? It will join the DNA strand to the DNA strand through the phosphodiester bond, and it play an important role in repairing, breaking and forming new strand. So these are the particular function of the enzyme. Now we all are going to see the process of replication, that how the replication process mainly takes place. That was the experiment, but now the process we are going to see. Now see the replication process of replication. It is the energy expensive process because a lot of energy will be required to form the new strand. That is called as energy expensive process. Here DNTP will serve as a dual purpose. DNTP means deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate will act as a dual purpose. First one, it also act as a substrate as well as it also provide the energy. At replication fork means the particular point, here it is called as replication fork. A small opening of DNA helix is present. A DNA helix small opening is present. That is only the replication originating site, that there only the replication will take place. DNA dependent polymerase will always act in a one direction 5' to 3'. DNA dependent polymerase, it will extend the chain, that why it is always occurring in the 5' to 3' direction. Okay, now and at particular that replication fork, there will be 3' to 5' addition complication of the replication. One strand will be added from 3' to 5'. 3' to 5' here occurring now, that particular strand will be occurring. Due to this replication is continuous. Addition of the strand will unwind. The strand will unwind. There the enzyme will act and new strand will be formed. So after the new strand addition only, the replication is continuous, and that particular where the continuous strand will be added, that is called as the leading strand. And one more, after that particular at opposite side there will be discontinuous strand will be occurring, that is called as the lagging side. So this is what is called leading side because continuous, and this is called as the lagging side. Now so on the 3' to 5' direction means 3' to 5' direction of the particular DNA, there will be continuous strand, and 5' to 3' direction, 5' to 3' direction, there will be discontinuous. And this particular discontinuous strand will be occurring in the fragment. That why it is called as the Okazaki fragment, and it is also called discontinuous strand. That is the template or parental strand. So discontinuous replication will be occurring from 5' to 3' direction is called Okazaki fragment, and that particular strand will called as the lagging strand. Here one more point is there, that origin of replication is a certain point. There is the origin of replication in the DNA. There will be the origin of replication or ORI point. That will be the point where the DNA polymerase will recognize and their particular DNA polymerase will act, and then polymerization will start and the addition of further strand or nucleotide will be occurring and successfully completing the replication or the copy of DNA molecule or polymerization will takes place. So in apps and there the origin of replication will not only occur only by DNA polymerase, their RNA polymerase will also be binded. So RNA primer will also act as a vector, and in absence of RNA polymerase, DNA polymerase cannot add exceptionally only alone it can't add the particular strand. So that's why the RNA primer will act as a vector is also required. In eukaryotic, we already know, and in the cell cycle we had studied that in eukaryotic S phase only DNA replication will occur. If the particular DNA will be replicated but the division fails to take place, the mitosis, meiosis and all that, so that will be results in the polyploidy, that is the chromosomal abnormality which will occur because there is a replication is not proper, the cell division had not occurred. So that is the polyploidy condition. So this is the process of replication. Here we already studied about the diagram. See here the diagram is being given here also. The template strand, the particular replication fork that will be unwinded, newly strand will be formed. 5' to 3' is called as the continuous strand will form, and 3' to 5' there will be the discontinuous or Okazaki fragment because it is present in the form of fragment, small, that is why it is called as Okazaki fragment. So these all are the points. In the next lecture we will study about the translation and transcription. So these were the points. You all go through once the point about this particular central dogma, the experiments, and then particular enzymes which were acting, and the process of replication. Okay, complete your notes and go through the topic. In the next lecture we will study about the transcription and translation. If any problem will be there, then ask me anytime.